Everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of fireside. That smokiness of the lap song, you know, I love it. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea or cup of coffee, or as I always say, maybe something harder. Depends on what part of the planet you're on. TGIF, guys, TGIF. It is the end of the week. Thank God, right? Hope you guys having a wonderful, wonderful weekend coming up. So today we're going to be talking about a little bit of newsy stuff. So Sony, Canon, Fujifilm, basically an update, an end of the week update. What's going on with them? Anything that's new, I'm going to give it to you today. Hopefully short and concise. I like to keep these as short as possible on Fridays, 10, 15 minutes max. That's it. So let's get right into it. Now, as you guys know, I've always recommended the Sony a7 III, right? I thought it was an amazing camera, a ton of ROI, a ton of return on investment. I thought it was an amazing camera for the price. It was a great value, so to speak. So it came in just under $2,000 at the time when it first came out. This is a couple years back. And right from day one, I recommended it. I thought that it was absolutely awesome. Now, ever since then, everyone has been wondering, what is the a7 IV going to be like? I've always said that the a7 III was like a loss leader. It was a way to bring in new blood into the Sony platform, let's say. And they did it. They did it in spades. It was an awesome, awesome, let's call it loss leader. They made money on it, but it was very cheap for what it was. I think they're going to do the exact same thing with the a7 IV, but they're going to give us a little bit more. Now, when is it going to come out? What are they going to give us? What is going to be the extra niceties in there? Now, obviously these are rumors, but a lot of them are solidified now because we're really close to the time when this is going to be announced, quote unquote, released. And that date will be October. So let's call it mid-October when we should see the camera, or at least see the formal announcement. And then it's only a few weeks later, a month or so, when it comes out. Now, the a7 IV is said to have a brand new sensor. It's not going to have the old 24 megapixel sensor. It's going to have a new and improved 33 megapixel sensor. So more megapixels is always better, according to a lot of people. A lot of folks want to see at least 30 megapixels, 32 megapixels, right around there. So this is 33, which is nice. Now remember, the Canon EOS R is shooting 30 megapixels. So it's pretty much on par, maybe outdoing Canon by a couple megapixels. Now, IBIS is going to be improved, the in-body image stabilization. So instead of the 5 stops of compensation, now the new camera is supposedly going to have 5.5 stops of compensation. Not a big deal, but 5.5 stops is usually on par with every other camera that's out there today, any of the more advanced cameras. So that's good. Also, the rumored EVF. Now, the EVF currently is like 2.5 megapixels, let's say. This new one is going to be over 3.5 megapixels, the EVF. But a lot of Sony users wanted to see the same EVF that they have in the Sony a7 R4, and that is about 5 3/4 megapixels. So it's a lot more. I don't think they're going to see it, and why is that? Once again, this is going to be, as I call it, a loss leader, even though it's not. They still make money on it, but it's going to still be a cheap camera, so they can't put in the best of the best of the best. If they do, then they step on the heels of their other cameras. They don't want to do that. Now, we're going to definitely see 4K 60p, shouldn't be a problem. They might even be able to get this up to 4K 120p. They probably won't. Why? Well, it's still a cigarette box camera, all right? It's still small, and you always have to worry about heat and heat distribution. As you are getting these cameras to do more and more processing, because they are computers, not even cameras anymore, the more processing you do, the more heat that builds up. And if you can't dissipate the heat, you're going to overheat. And they're not going to do that, right? They're not going to pull a Canon and just melt the thing, right? They're just not going to do it. So probably 4K 60p is what you're going to end up seeing. Now, Sony Alpha Rumors was quoted in saying that Sony's goal with the a7 IV is to fight back Canon. I think that's an interesting statement, considering Canon has only been doing this full frame deal for a couple of years now, where Sony's been doing it for like 7 or 8. to fight back Canon means that Canon is doing really quite well, and they really have been. So seeing 33 megapixels instead of Canon's 30 and whatnot simply makes sense. Also on par with image stabilization. Now we know that Sony's autofocus and tracking and eye tracking and animal tracking and flying saucer tracking is like second to none. It is absolutely awesome. On par with dual pixel AF, and now probably quad pixel AF is right around the corner with maybe the, let's call it the 1D replacement, which would be an R1. We'll see if that comes to fruition or not. So I'm guessing the supply of this camera when it does come out is going to be limited. So if you're interested, I would probably pre-order sooner than later. As soon as it becomes available for pre-order, you probably should do so. Now, Canon. Canon has been talking a lot about their new flagship, a Canon EOS R3. We saw it in the wild at the Olympics, at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, and there was a lot of things that were said by the photographers that were using them that was very positive. But what else would they say? They're given a camera by Canon to take a look at and test. They're not going to go to the, the reporters and be like, yeah, it was a crap camera. They're not going to do that, right? So supposedly it's doing really well, and probably it is. It's going to be a professional grade camera, full body. It's not going to have a body and then you need a battery grip to attach to the bottom. It's all in one, a unibody or an integrated battery type of style camera. So it's a big brick. The camera itself has 24 megapixels. It's sporting 30 frames per second RAW, which is what a lot of them are doing now. That is with an electronic shutter, not the manual shutter. Also, it will do AF all the way down to -7 EV. That's dark, guys. That's pretty dark. And to be able to capture that AF that quick, to capture that AF in the dark is amazing. Also, we're looking at 8 stops of image stabilization. When you combine the IBS, the in-body image stabilization, with the IS, or image stabilization of the lenses, they are coming up with 8 stops of stabilization. That is a ton. That is a lot. Also, we'll be able to do internal 4K RAW video, as well as having the exact same weather sealing as a 1D, right? So that is really good. Once again, this is a professional grade camera. This is aimed towards the professionals out there that need something big, rugged, a lot of battery life, and they'll be able to be in the field, in the moisture, the snow, the grime, the grit, and not have to worry about any problems with the camera itself. The only time that anything will get into that camera is when you take the lens off, period. We're going to see that most likely in mid-September. So watch out for that. If you're interested in it, it's not going to be cheap. $4,000 or $5,000, not a cheap camera. But for me, I'm more interested in the R1. Hasn't been announced as of yet. We don't know what it's going to be all about, but I think that will be their true flagship. This is kind of like their getting starter model. Now, finally, Fujifilm. You guys know that I love Fujifilm. I think that the GFX line is amazing, which is their, let's call it a cropped medium format. They are crushing it in the medium format space. But their X line, their XT1, 2, 3, 4 has always done well. We were also talking about the T30 and the T30 Mark II about a week ago or so. Well, there's always been a lot of talk about the X-H2 and then now its successor, which would be the X-H2. Now, the X-H2 is something that I've been waiting for because I wanted to see what they do with it. Are they going to upgrade the sensor? Will they eventually go full frame? What are they going to do with it? Obviously, they're not going to go full frame because it doesn't make sense. Fujifilm is a smart company. They're not going to get into the bloodbath, as we know, of full frame mirrorless, let's call it the wars that have been going on. They just don't do that. It's not worth it to them. So it will be an APS-C sensor, but the question has always been, will this be an X-trans sensor or will it be a bare array sensor? What will they put into this? Now, there's 50% of the people that love bare array. There's 50% of the people that absolutely love the X-trans. Now, there's positives and negatives to both. I'm not going to get into them in this video. But what I am going to say that Fuji Rumors finally came up with a, let's call it a definitive answer to this. What they said was the Fujifilm X-H2 will have the X-trans sensor in it, not a bare array. So You might like it or you might hate it. I personally love the X-Trans. It's always a problem when it comes to developing the images because a lot of the packages out there don't do a good job at figuring out how to process X-Trans raw files. But today, a lot of them are getting better. So take that all with a grain of salt. Obviously, I don't do it on a regular basis, but a lot of you do. So in the comment area, talk about it a little bit. Do you like the X-Trans or do you like the bare array when it comes to the Fuji line of cameras? Now, bear in mind, this will be the first camera from Fujifilm that will have not only their brand new X-Trans sensor in it, the new design, but also the brand new processor. So this is exciting news to me because I've been waiting for this for quite some time. And we're going to have to continue to wait because this is not supposed to come out until 2022. So it's going to be a bit, but a lot of people have been talking about it. This is one of those cameras that's like an enigma. People talk about it all the time. It's like, just shut up about it, right? The X-H2 was an amazing video camera. It had some negatives, but a lot of positives that came with it. Today, people will buy the X-T4 over it many times than not, but when this X-H2 comes out, that's going to all change. So anyways, looking at the beginning of 2022, we'll probably start hearing rumors of when the announcement will be. But as of right now, you know that, let's say 99.9% sure that the brand new camera will have a new processor as well as a brand new sensor, and that sensor will be X-Trans. So anyways, guys, that is your news fix for this Friday. Once again, TGIF. I want to say that so many people have been coming to me and saying, you know, I absolutely love your ACC product, right? Your Aurora Camera Care product. It looks like this. You can buy them over on my website, JCristina.com, or on B&H Photo and Video. You can pick them up on Amazon. But many people are buying these, and I'm getting so many positive reviews. Thank you, thank you, thank you for doing so. This right here is APS-C, but there's also full frame available as well as micro four thirds. So some ask, what makes your sensor cleaner better than all the other sensor cleaners out there? Well, I'm going to tell you, all right? So you get packs of these swabs. You actually get 5 packs. So you get 5 wet and 5 dry. The wet already come pre-moistened with the exact amount of cleaner on it. So you have 1 wet that you go over the sensor with, and then you have 1 dry, you go over that, and now you're done. Your sensor is 100% clean. You don't have to take the swabs, figure out how many drops to put onto it. Is there too much on one side, too much on the other side? Is it evenly you don't need all that. It's the exact amount in here every single time, and they're sealed. All right, so that no dust, no debris, nothing could get on it. You can throw it in the ocean, pull it out, dry it off, and then use it. All right, well, I went one further with that. A lot of people will see lens cloths like this, right? Well, what I did with these packs is I've included lens cloths. They are microfibers that are 3-ply instead of single-ply, so they're really thick. And they, once again, come in a wet and a dry. So you pull them apart. You have a wet, you have a dry. You use the wet on your lenses, and then you go over it with the dry, and it's perfectly spotless. I'm telling you, it is unbelievable. You could then take these, once you're done with your lenses, use it on your iPad, use it on your phone, use it on your watch, use it on your TV, whatever, as long as you don't have crust and debris and dirt on it. But it will make those surfaces spotless. Literally, if you use it on your phone and you look at your phone, the blackness of the phone, right, when it's off, will look inky because there's not even dust left. There's nothing left. Spotless. So anyways, that's why these things have been getting the reviews that they're getting over on B&H Photo and Video, over on Amazon, on my site and whatnot. So if you want these, you can pick them up from me. You can go to my website, JCristina.com. Use promo code YT20 at checkout, just for getting to the end of this nonsense. Promo code YT20 at checkout. You'll get 20% off your entire order. It doesn't matter what it is, not just one product, everything that you put in your shopping cart, 20% off. Also, if you enjoyed this content, as always, throw it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click this little bell icon over here so when I go live or when a new video comes out, you'll be notified of it immediately. And if you just want to throw the channel a couple of bucks, you can do so using the JC tip jar address right here, or by clicking the join button down here. You become a member, you can give $1 or $2 a month, and I can give you perks for doing so. Also, we have this new button down here that YouTube gave us that says thanks. It has a little $sign. Supposedly, if you give $1 or $2 through that button, it gives us, the creator, full amount, or let's say the majority share of that donation. So if you want to contribute, you can do so. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools I've invented over the many years. And I'm sure some of those, just like this, will be of interest to you. Pick something up. I would really appreciate it. Once again, use promo code YT20 at checkout. That's it, guys. I'm out of here for yet another vlog. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe and stay healthy.